Are you looking forward to the film this morning?
Yeah, no, I'm really looking forward to it. Actually, I've seen it already, and so today is just about bringing my daughter, and I've basically got all my neighbours' children with me as well. So all the mums are having a nice, relaxing day, and as a Mother's Day treat, I'm taking everyone to see Rio 2.
Obviously, you've already seen it, so what made you want to come back? What's so good about this second adventure for Blue and Jewel?
Well, I absolutely loved this film. The music's brilliant, the dancing's great, and I just thought that my daughter had to see it too because she loved the first one, so she is no doubt going to love the second one.
What's the secret of a good children's film? What makes it extra special? What makes it something that big kids and little kids alike can enjoy and love?
Kids aren't stupid. They want a good film. They want decent quality, and so do we as adults. I think the best films are something that caters for both adults and children, something that maybe has something that the children don't quite understand but adults think is quite entertaining. Also good music, something that we can all sing along to. We all sing along to Frozen as a family, so it's quite good that we'll have a new film to sing along to too now.
Apart from singing along to Frozen and Rio 2, what have you got coming up in 2014?
Lots of little bits and pieces. So yeah, I do quite a lot of work at Heart and also the lottery. And this morning. So yeah, just standard, just standard. Yeah.
What do you think it is about the Amazon in particular that continues to captivate our imagination so wildly?
Well, I think it's still one of those last wildernesses on Earth, and I think those kind of places always fascinate us, you know. And I think that there are parts of it that are still quite unknown. I mean, I've been lucky enough to be there, and there's a whole swathe of it which is just off limits to filmmakers and visitors. So I think there is something about that. I think there's something, it kind of reminds us of our past. It reminds us of the fact that the planet was once a place that was an unknown quantity. I mean, particularly films that that are maybe sort of there's an underlying kind of message about conservation, which I think is great because it works on two levels. And it's entertaining, it's brightly coloured, and it's fun, and kids want to see it. But that's great because then I'm known with my own son, if you go and see a film about a subject, then they'll come and ask you about it, and they'll want to find out more about it. And I think that's really, if you can get all those elements together, that's a real sort of the full package.
How are things going at the moment? What's coming up in 2014? I know obviously you've been working on the television show for a while. Has there been any movement on that since the last time we spoke?
Actually, yeah. I mean, I'm just about we're starting research on that, the TV project, also a documentary, some natural history stuff, and I'm writing a musical. So it's busy, busy. I'm going to be doing a tour of Europe, which is really strange. I've never expected that happening in 2014, but I'm doing 12 countries around Europe, so it should be fun.
Talking about the tour first, what are you taking on tour? Is that one of your existing tours, or is that a new show that you're working on?
Well, it's like the Quan Peddler show that I did last year, and that's going on tour in Europe, just because there seems to be a lot of demand for it. And I'm going to places I've never been before, like Latvia and Lithuania. Not you wouldn't imagine they're normally on the comedy circuit, but apparently there's a bit of a demand for it. So I'll be going there, and Scandinavia and Europe. So it should be fun.
The documentary that you're working on and the natural history stuff, can you tell us any more about that at this stage?
Not at this stage, no, because it's still sort of in the preparation, but it's going to be, it's very exciting. It's going to be a big project.
Are you looking forward to Rio 2?
Yes, very much so. We saw a trailer last night. We had dinner at Planet Hollywood, and a big trailer came on the screen, so Dixie's excited.
Do you guys watch a lot of films together? Are you a big film family?
We do. We watch quite a few films. She likes all the Disney princesses and things, so this will be a bit different for her, but she loves animals. She just said to me she wants to see lots of birds and animals. I was like, we're coming to the right place.
Do you personally have a favourite Disney princess? I think every little girl growing up has one they particularly identify with.
I like Sleeping Beauty.
Why Sleeping Beauty? Why do you identify with her?
She gets to sleep a lot. Rapunzel's good. She's got nice long hair.
You're definitely not sleeping much at the moment because you're very busy. Can you talk us first of all about the cupcakes and how that's going?
It's going well. Dixie's Cupcakery is changing slightly, so we're relocating to different premises, and we're just going to have a unit and Losers shop front. And the other two businesses are going really well. So I'm just very busy, but I'm going away next week, which is nice, finally.
There's been a lot of Twitter chat about whether or not you and Helen are in fact going to be mud wrestling. Can you confirm now, are you going to be, and how excited are you if that is happening?
I think our agents are speaking, that's all I know.
Obviously, recently as well, you've been talking a bit about some of the celebrities who have a little bit of artificial help with their looks, and I'm curious, I mean, why do you feel so strongly about that? I mean, people like Amy and that, why do you think they're sort of, they're not to be looked up to for what they're doing with their Botox and all that kind of stuff?
I'm not anti-Botox. I will one day have Botox. I just want to put that out there. I just think people are having a bit too young or a bit too obsessed, and it's kind of making loads of people look the same. I think that was my point. Everyone tends to look like a little clone of the next person, and it's nice to have a bit of individuality. And you don't have to be perfect in life.
I can't wait to watch the film. I'm a massive fan of anything animated, especially things with birds in it, and I'm sure Faith will enjoy it too.
What's the magic of animated films? What do they give little kids and big kids alike?
I think seeing the enjoyment on my 2-year-old's face in the cinema gives me the most enjoyment and fulfillment I could ever wish for.
Is there a particular film that you guys love watching together, especially that you keep putting on again and again?
When it's released, it will be Frozen tomorrow when I go and pick up the DVD. Yep, she's a massive Frozen fan.
When you're not watching Frozen on a loop, what have you got coming up in 2014? What's happening at the moment for you?
Well, I've just had a baby boy 4 weeks ago, so I'm just getting into the swing of things, and I've got some presenting jobs coming up and Liberty X gigs, so yeah, it should be a good year.
I mean, Liberty X, fantastic to have you guys back with us. What can we expect from you guys coming forward? Is there new material in the works? Is that apart from the live show?
Well, we never say never with new material. It's not something that we're thinking of at the moment, but we'll see what happens. But there'll be definite live shows.
Of course, I mean, getting back together was fascinating viewing for the public. What was it like for you guys on the inside of that, though? I mean, what was your your best thing from that experience? I guess your one take.
The best thing about being a pop group is performing. So the best thing about the reunion was just being on stage. It was amazing.
How excited does it make you, particularly, to see an animated film all about beautiful birds?
I'd rather see the real thing. I shouldn't have asked that, you see. It is extraordinary. One of the, I've obviously followed cartoons, entertainment and films as much as I've ever followed natural history, and of course to see the way those things have changed over the years and the accuracy by and large which animators use now compared with what it was when I was a kid, when most of the animals didn't look anything like what they're supposed to do and didn't behave like they're supposed to do, so nowadays I'm sure they have a sort of animal consultant on every film that has creatures in it, I think the only downside to it sometimes, and not this film, but because I don't know yet, but in general, is I wonder whether youngsters don't expect creatures in the wild to sort of behave the same way, and say, no, darling, it's not going to sing and dance for you or talk and anything like that. You wouldn't now. My granddaughter's here. This is Ella. There's Ella and Gracie. Has there been a time in your life when you sort of expected the real wildlife
I did want the otter when I went to Sea Life in Scotland. I did want the otters to start just coming up to me and trying to lick my hand, but no, they just slept in their cage.
There was one point when I had a hamster and I had just seen Alvin and the Chipmunks, and I expected my hamster. I was only 5 and I expected my hamster to stand up and start talking to me. So I would go up to her cage every day and say hi. I would start talking to her.
I think that's genuinely. I think that is probably generally a syndrome. There's nothing you can do about it in a way, But I seriously think that it's slightly misleading. You say, oh, I hate that. It doesn't sing. Yeah. Okay.
In terms of 2014 for you, what are you looking forward to? Apart from obviously watching this film this morning, what's coming up next for you?
2014, I'm hoping, my main concern is a number of issues, both here and abroad, but particularly in Britain, of the safety of our countryside and wildlife, because we have a government that, frankly, doesn't give a damn. a very dangerous bunch of people, very. I just learnt yesterday that Eton College actually has a hare hunting day where they teach the boys how to hunt hares, and they've actually got their own pack of hunting dogs at Eton College. And the other thing we know about Eton College is that our Prime Minister went there and several of his ministers went there. So they actually teach hunting at Eton. That's good, isn't it?
Maybe they can hunt each other. Thank you so much for talking to us, Bill, and we hope that your work to get that stopped goes very well this year.
Yeah, thanks very much indeed. Yes, sorry to be serious for a moment, but it's too early to be anything else.
I'm doing Dirty Rotten Scoundrels, the musical, at the Savoy. Tickets are on sale for that till November. My contract extends past that, so as long as we sell all those tickets, then I'll be in that until at least 2015. And you know, it seems to be going very well. Our big opening's Wednesday, so you know, it hasn't had like the official kind of press deciding yes, this is valid or not valid, but in terms of audience response, we've been getting standing ovations on a Tuesday, which, you know, is pretty good darts, because people who turn up on a Tuesday generally aren't like mad theatre goers. Whether or not they're going to give you an ovation is very much depending on the quality of the show. So we've been getting standers every night, and it feels like we're in a very good place with it. We're really excited. You know, movies and TV and stuff like that, you know, things now are getting remade a lot. And the thing that I really understand as being true is that in different media, you just tell the story in a different way. You know, it can't be the same thing. So we're not remaking the movie because the movie didn't have songs and dances and all of that business. The story's the same, but it's not. It's not like I turn up to work every day and think I've got to be more like Steve Martin. I'm telling the story. It's a different approach. It's a different person. So the big difference really is that you work out the story you're telling, and then you just try and stay as true to that as you can.
One thing I do want to ask you about as well, I know at the start of the year you were talking about a slightly more serious issue in terms of politics and the future of the NHS. How do you feel about that now, and are you still kind of committed to the idea of at some stage getting involved in the political process yourself?
Well, as it stands, I'm going to be on the ballot for the National Health Action Party in the European elections at the end of May. Largely, look, the way that those elections work, for me to actually end up as an MEP would take some sort of electoral miracle. You know, it's not really about trying to take power. The NHA really wants people to understand what is happening to the NHS. The mainstream is not particularly interested in telling you about the stealth privatisation of those health services. Most people in this country want a system that you get the health care as you need it, not whether or not you're rich. And that's really the principle that I'm trying to defend. No one's saying the NHS is perfect or it couldn't be improved, but the idea that the stealth privatisation will end up being irreversible thanks to TTIP is a genuinely terrifying prospect, and we're really just trying to make people aware of that so that they hopefully become political enough that they can tell their representatives that that is not what they want. What they want is a health service that's accorded to need, not wealth.
I know, I mean, at the start of the year, you made some quite bold statements about David Cameron and how he feels about your children, particularly if they're not rich. I'm curious, do you still stand by those statements? Because obviously I think at the time they got a lot of attention because of, I guess, the language you were using and how dramatic it seemed.
Yeah. Look, I believe that in terms of writing, writing, you can pick up any newspaper this morning and find hyperbole in that, where you read the headline, you go, and then you read the article and go, oh, you know, that's writing to me. I think, you know, you start with something quite shocking and then you explain your case. To me, anybody taking those comments is like genuinely me thinking David Cameron wakes up every morning thinking, how can I kill those children, is obviously idiotic. I don't think anybody that, frankly, is capable of any sort of thought at all read that and thought that was the point I was making. The point I was making is that the stealth privatisation of the NHS will end up that healthcare will be meted out according to your ability to pay. Not that he's like walking around now going, let's kill some children, just that when those children are older, they will not have free healthcare. They will have a system where they're expected to pay as and when they get ill. that's what I meant by that. I think anybody who actually read the article found that pretty self-explanatory. But there are obviously those people who have got, most of them got private interests in, the companies or in the trust funds that are making them money, and they want to get people distracted by, I can't believe you said these words, rather than the point you're actually making. They'd rather dismiss you because how dare you say that thing, than actually engage with the kind of the meat of the issue. And that's largely all that happened. People like Toby Young or Guido Fawkes, they're far more vested in trying to vilify anybody who's actually standing up for anything resembling kind of society, because all of their pals are millionaires who've got way more interest in this all just being run for the good of them and their other millionaire mates.
Are you looking forward to the film first of all?
We can't wait. We've seen the first one, so we're just ready to see the second one now. The energy is crazy here. This is the place to be, definitely.
Of course, music's a big part of the film. Is that something that especially excites you guys and makes you smile when you see that on screen?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. We can't wait to hear all the different music. We're just excited.
For you guys, for people who maybe haven't heard a lot of your stuff yet, can you describe what your sound is and what's coming up for you in 2014?
Our sound's basically R&B pop infused. We've got a tour coming up in May, April. We've got our first single coming out in April time. So it's going to be a big year for us, so make sure you stay tuned at mvsofficial.com.
Can you tell us a bit about the first single, what we can expect, what's it called and what's kind of inspired it?
So the first single is called Green Light. What inspires it? It's a bit like a Jason Derulo kind of vibe.
Justin Timberlake. It's kind of like a Justin Timberlake vibe as well.
It's a party
track. Yeah, party track. So many diverse tracks that we've got. We've just basically infused loads of different styles. It's going to be a nice mixture of different styles for each track. So
there's a lot of us. We like to get a song to suit everybody. Yeah. So there's going to be quite a variety on there.
Yeah.
Really looking forward to it. We absolutely love the first one, and so we've been really looking forward to this for a while, yeah.
What do you love so much about the first one?
I think it's just very funny and very clever, and I think kids love it, but when you're the mums coming along as well, then there's lots to laugh at and enjoy too, so it's good.
What's coming up for you in 2014 then? What are you most looking forward to at the moment?
I don't know actually. All sorts of things going on. I seem to be working for all channels at the moment, so I don't know what's going on, but yeah, it's good. Good.